Dear friends, let me share with you why the World Economic Forum can be of great service in our complex and fast-changing global system. Let's go back to the origin. In 1970, as a young professor at the University of Geneva, I wrote a book on modern management. I started writing this book asking myself the crucial question: what is the purpose of a corporation? In the book, I pioneered the stakeholder concept, which was avant-garde at the time, arguing that business should not serve only its shareholders, but all those who have a stake in the destiny of the company, such as employees, society, and the planet. As a consequence, I created the Forum as a not-for-profit foundation, with the idea in mind of a global village where all stakeholders could interact on the most important issues of our time. Over the last 50 years, I have further developed the stakeholder concept into a global business citizenship approach, stating that business, together with governments and civil society, must be an active and responsible stakeholder in addressing global problems. Today, the concept of stakeholder capitalism, as well as the idea that the complex issues in our world can only be solved through public-private cooperation, is finally becoming mainstream. Stakeholder responsibility on a corporate but also on a global level remains the fundamental underlying principle behind everything we are doing. I see four distinct phases in the evolution of the World Economic Forum in the last 50 years. In the first phase, after the initial Davos meeting in 1971, we strengthened our convening power, integrating really the top leaders from government, business, and civil society. In a second phase, we turned participants of our events into members, laying the foundation for continued interaction and cooperation. And in the third phase, we developed our internal capability to exercise conceptual leadership through initiatives and reports which have now become reference benchmarks around the world in areas such as global competitiveness, global risks, and gender parity. And finally, in the fourth and last phase, we moved from generating stakeholder interaction to enabling joint stakeholder action and achieving collective impact. Whereas in the past, there was a clear distinction between the political, economic, social, technological, and ecological aspects of a challenge, today, everything is interdependent and interwoven. Therefore, the Forum is the only international organization which looks at all issues in an interconnected way. To structure this systemic approach, we have 5 centers with numerous interconnected initiatives. First, in our Center for Global and Regional Cooperation, we focus on all the political, global and regional aspects. Second, as an engineer, I always have been fascinated by technological progress, and with my book, I coined the notion of the fourth industrial revolution. Consequently, we have developed expertise in areas such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and others through our Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which now has developed a worldwide network. Third, environmental responsibility is a crucial, essential part of stakeholder responsibility. And the Forum, through its Center for Nature and Climate, provides a unique platform for a holistic approach to regenerate nature and reach net zero. Fourth, in our Center for the New Economy and Society, we reimagine policies focused on achieving more resilience, stronger equality, and greater sustainability. And finally, fifth, our Center for Industry Transformation is a leader in helping companies stay ahead of the curve by strengthening their competitiveness and at the same time fulfilling the expectations of their shareholders. In each of those 5 centers, we try really to be future-oriented and break through conventional attitudes and practices. This is why, in addition to our traditional government and business leader communities, we have built creative and challenging voices through our communities of Global Future Councils, our young global leaders, and particularly also our global shapers, providing the forum, by the way, with a network of local hubs in more than 450 cities around the world. I always have been particularly concerned about having an open forum approach and integrating grassroots leaders into our activities. This is why, together with my wife Hilde, we created the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship, which has directly and indirectly improved the lives of 500 million people over the last 20 years. Today, regionalization and localizations have become counterparts to globalization. Meaningful perspectives have to be based on the integration of globalization, regionalization, and localizations, which is why, in addition to our headquarters in the international city of Geneva, the Forum has a direct presence in New York, Beijing, Tokyo, Mumbai, and in Silicon Valley. In addition, through our Centers for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, we are present today in 14 countries with the network fast globally expanding. Our strongest assets are the trusted relationships we have built with governments and business. We are working closely together with all major international organizations, as well as with governments from around the world, including all G20 countries. Ultimately, the cooperation with our industry partners is decisive. We are proud to engage the foremost global business community, making sure that the most relevant and most knowledgeable global corporations are not only engaged, but are at the forefront of driving positive change. Our partner companies provide leadership, entrepreneurship, and stewardship to enact the Forum's mission. When we look back at the last 50 years, the Forum, through the collaborative efforts of its communities, has had considerable impact. We have been at the forefront of many societal concepts, such as stakeholder capitalism, corporate global citizenship, social entrepreneurship, public-private cooperation, and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We have been at the origin of other important international organizations, such as the Global Fund, Gavi, CEPI, among others. We have provided strategic insights into political and business decision-making. But we also played a major role in national and regional reconciliation processes. In addition, the informal and trusted atmosphere that we have provided in our activities and events has led to manifold opportunities for learning, collaboration, and lasting friendships. As an organization, blending the mission and orientation of an NGO together with the creativity of an academic institution and the entrepreneurship and efficiency of a business enterprise, we have created a new kind of international organization fit for the 21st century. Our Board of Trustees reflects this approach. Around 1/3 of the members are CEOs of multinational companies, 1/3 are leaders of international organizations and governments, and 1/3 are from civil society, forming a truly multi-stakeholder community. Being not-for-profit with a service orientation, as well as being committed to the highest intellectual and moral principles, the Forum has a very special culture, embraced by the more than 600 highly motivated people from over 80 countries working with us. In addition, we have been able to host 200 secondees and fellows to work with us on specific projects. I'm so proud of the professionalism, the enthusiasm, and the engagement of our staff, and of the leadership of our managing board, led by its president, Børge Brende. Independence and neutrality, impartiality, in the best of the Swiss tradition, were also decisive in safeguarding our credibility and reputation, expressed also in our recognition as an international organization for public-private cooperation through a host state agreement with the Swiss government in 2015. In addition, our strategic framework cooperation agreement with the United Nations as well as with the OECD are important as an anchor in the international governance system. Today, we are living in a world where protecting one's own interest has increasingly become the guiding principle. It is also a world absorbed by the speed of change, the complexity of issues, and unforeseen circumstances and crises. This makes addressing fundamental longer-term challenges ever more difficult. On the positive side, it's also a world where business has never shown greater willingness to provide top-level attention, resources, and know-how to work together with the other stakeholders in efficient and collaborative platforms for progress, people, and the planet. For me, true leadership has 4 dimensions: brains, soul, heart, and muscles. At the Forum, we are committed to implementing those 4 dimensions into all of our activities by applying the best of professionalism, working with vision and values, executing with passion, and translating action into impact. We believe the work of the World Economic Forum has never been more essential, and our approach has never been more needed in the complex, polarized, and fast-moving context we are facing. It requires all our collaborative efforts for living up to our mission, committed to improving the state of the world.